Welcome to this video lecture on war poetry. War poetry means poetry written during and about the First World War. The First World War is also known as the Great War. So these poetry also called trench poetry also. So the war poetry are actually modern. They present their pain in naturalistic and painfully realistic way, but we could not find the modernist poet traits in their poems. Actually, war poets set in contrast with Georgian poetry. Georgian poetry, they presented war as a noble affair. They celebrated the happy warrior. Happy warrior means one who is proud to give his life for the country. This concept, that is romanticized war, giving importance to patriotism, it is known as jingoism. Actually, war poetry, it punches the idea, the concept of jingoism only. So war poetry could be considered as an anti-war poem only. So war poets represented horror and pity of war through shocking images and language. War poetry emerged during World War I and was written by poets like Rupert Brooke, Siegfried Sassoon, Wilfred Owen, Robert Graves, Ivor Gurney, Edward Thomas, and Isaac Rosenberg. They are all soldiers. They all have participated in war. So these poems were also known as soldiers' poems only. These soldiers' poets, they were all bound together. They all met in the trenches and they all share their first-hand experience of the wars. And most of them took part in the Great War I. Rupert Brooke, Wilfred Owen, Sassoon are the most popular war poets. Among them, Rupert Brooke represented ideal of patriotic and noble sense of war. Actually, he wrote poem before the First World War. Other poets, other war poets, they captured that maybe the terror and tragedy of wars. And Rupert Brooke, and he is the first one who established the cult in soldier poets in England. The pioneer of war poetry, he is considered as the pioneer of war poetry, and he only started off in the Georgian line. So Wilfred Owen is the war poet who glorifies war. He belongs to the Bloomsbury group and he is famous for his group sonnets. The most famous poem of Rupert Brooke is The Soldier. It was published in the year 1914. And this poem was often contrasted with Wilfred Owen's 1917 anti-war poem Dulcie et Decorum Est, and he was celebrated as a national hero. Wilfred Owen, he is the best known of the war poets. He died as a martyr of the war at the age of 25. He is a soldier. He died at the war front and died at a very young age, at the age of 25. He had a long-lasting relationship and association with another important war poet, Siegfried Sassoon. Wilfred Owen was highly inspired by Sassoon's published book, The Trench Sketches. Wilfred Owen's poems marked by his bleak realism, his energy, and it expressed his indignations and compassions and his highly technical skills also. Owen's poems offer a rare and authentic voice from the trenches, and it captures the brutality, horror, and humanity of war. Unlike some other war poets like Rupert Brooke, Owen's work is characterized by a strong anti-war sentiment and it condemns the senseless slaughter and suffering. He considers war is futile, useless one. And all the Owen's poems demonstrate a masterful technique using imagery, metaphor, and other literary devices to convey the intensity of war. Actually, Owen's poems, it had a very profound influence on modern poetry and literature. It shapes the way we think about war and its impact on humanity. The most popular poems of Wilfred Owen are Dulcie et Decorum Est, Anthem for Doomed Youth, and Strange Meeting. Thank you so much.